Hello everyone, this is Vidisha and today I am going to talk about eukaryotic gene expression regulation, where I will be covering overview of eukaryotic gene expression regulation and transcription regulators, their mode of action and structural types. Different cell types in multicellular organism become different from one another because they express different sets of RNA and different sets of proteins. But experimental evidences have proved that they have the same set of DNA sequences. You can see here, this is a structure of a neuron and this is a structure of a liver cell. If you compare this side length word, which is 25 micrometer, now you can consider keeping this liver cell along the length of the neuron, and you can imagine how many liver cell you can keep along the length of the neuron. Note that this neuron and liver cell share the same genome but express different sets of RNA and protein. Additionally, note that the regulatory sequences in bacteria, yeast and human, two complex regulatory sequences which are very much complex in human, that makes the eukaryotic gene expression regulation is much more complex in human compared to yeast and bacteria. Let us see an example of differences at the RNA level for a particular gene. So consider beta-actin gene. These are the RNA sequencing reads obtained from RNA sequencing from this 7 different cell lines. Now you see that after RNA sequencing you will get reads which are RNA sequences which you will map to the human genome and see how well these reads are coming, how many reads are there. You can see from these images that in all tissue types the number of reads are almost similar, which indicates that beta-actin gene express in all these tissue types in similar way. But that is not the case in case of tyrosine aminotransferase gene, where you see the number of reads are only detected in case of liver cell, not in the other cell types, which indicates the tissue type expression of tyrosine aminotransferase gene. This kind of data you can obtain from UCSC genome browser. Also, when you see at the difference at the protein level, when you take cell lysate from human brain cell and human liver and separate them based on 2D gel electrophoresis, which separate proteins based on molecular weight and isoelectric point. So according to molecular weight, they will be separated from top to bottom, and according to isoelectric point, they will be separated from right to left. You notice that the differences of these proteins in these two sets and also the abundance. Here we will now see how the gene expression are regulated at many different steps from DNA to RNA to protein. At step 1, which is transcriptional control, it will control whether to transcribe a gene or not. Now, once an RNA transcript is made, the RNA processing control will process, splice and post-transcriptional regulation will happen to the RNA to form a mature mRNA. Now step 3 will regulate that whether to mature RNA to export from nucleus to cytosol and where to place them in the cytosol. Once mRNA is transported to the cytosol, a translation control will translate the mRNA into protein, or to an unstable unfolded mRNA, it may cause degradation to it. And the last one, which is protein activity control, will selectively activate, inactivate or degrade protein after they are made. So these are the levels of regulation which happen inside the cell. But the initiation of RNA transcription provides the most important point of control because it is happening at the topmost level of these regulations. Now, how a cell will determine which of its thousands of genes to transcribe? The answer is by the control of transcription factors. Let us see how. So transcription regulators recognize specific DNA sequences which are typically 5 to 10 nucleotides in length. These are also called cis regulatory sequences. They must be on the same chromosome to the genes they control. Approximately 10% of the protein coding genes are transcription regulators, and these are the largest classes of proteins in the cell. Transcription of each gene is controlled by its own collection of cis regulatory sequences which lie upstream of the transcription start site. Now, why some transcription regulators form dimers? Is there any advantage? Let us see that. So, both monomers of the dimer make nearly identical contacts with the DNA. When the dimer will bind and double the length of the cis regulatory sequences recognized. That means when a monomer is binding, it is approximately 6 to 8 base pair in length, the cis regulatory sequence. But when a dimer is binding, that is approximately 12 to 16 base pair. That means it is doubling the length of the cis regulatory sequence recognized, which will greatly increase the affinity and the specificity of the transcription regulators binding. Now, in case of monomer, which will recognize 6 to 8 base pair, random occurrences of matching sequences are more, and in case of dimer, which will recognize 12 to 16 base pair, random occurrences of matching sequences are less. That means when monomer will bind, the sequences of random DNA sequences, binding sequences will be more, and when a dimer will bind, there will be a reduction of that occurrence of random sequences. Now, when a monomer recognizes 6 to 8 base pair of DNA, they recognize a closely related sequences. It is not an exact match of DNA that they look for. They look for closely related sequences. These are depicted as logos like this, and which display the range of sequences which can be recognized by a particular transcription regulators. So in this case here, you see that T is more than C. These two A are maximum. These two T are found majorly than compared to G. That means these sequences for a particular transcription regulator binding can be TAA, TTGC or TAA, GTAC and many more like this. Now, these dimers and heterodimers are held together very weakly. So, they remain as monomers in the solution, but they can found as dimers in the DNA. This type of proteins are said to bind DNA cooperatively, and the binding curve in this case is sigmoidal in shape. But in case of stable heterodimers, when they bind to the DNA, the curve is like exponential shape. How transcription regulators recognize cis regulatory sequences? Let us. So the age of these base pairs of DNA represent a distinctive pattern of hydrogen bond donors, hydrogen bond acceptors and hydrophobic patches in both the major and minor grooves. You see that major groove is wider than the minor groove, and it gives more features, structural features so that the transcription regulators will bind to this region compared to the minor groove. You can see in all these four combinations, whether it is GC or AT or CG or TA, major groove is minor, major groove is wider, where the structural proteins will bind. These transcription regulators contain structural motifs that are composed of alpha helices and beta sheets. So, side chain amino acids from these alpha helices or beta sheets will contact with the DNA. How that happens, you see here, this is a DNA binding protein whose asparagine side chain CO and NH group is making hydrogen bond contacts with the adenine of the DNA, and that is also in the major groove of DNA. Now, these contacts can be hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds, hydrophobic interactions. Similarly, for other amino acid side chains like tyrosine, lysine, arginine, they also form specific contacts with the respective bases in the DNA double helix. Let us see some examples of sequence-specific DNA binding proteins and their structural. The first one is helix-turn helix proteins. They originally identified in bacteria, now both found in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. The two helices, blue and the red, are connected by a short chain of extended amino acid called as turn. The two helices are held at a fixed angle primarily through the interaction between these two helices. The C-terminal helix is called as a recognition helix because it fits into the major groove of the DNA. These proteins bind DNA as a dimer. When they bind DNA as dimer, you see that the distance between these two recognition helix is exactly one turn of the DNA double helix, so that they properly fit into the major groove of the DNA. Next one is homeodomain proteins. Genetic analysis of the fruit fly Drosophila led to the characterization of these classes of genes called as homeotic selector genes, and they play a critical role in orchestrating fly development. This transcription regulators has conserved 60 amino acid residue, and that is the DNA binding domain called homeodomain. The homeodomain is folded into three helices which are packed tightly together by hydrophobic interactions. Helix 2 and 3 closely resembles the helix-turn helix motif. The recognition helix, which is helix 3, you can see here that the asparagine residue making contacts with adenine in the major groove, and also from the helix 1, arginine is making contact with the minor groove of DNA. The Actinopedia homeodomain protein from Drosophila melanogaster bind to the fragment of DNA is shown here. In this case, Drosophila containing a mutation which exhibiting homeotic transformation of the antennae into leg-like structures on the head. The other example is Nano, which is involved in the maintaining pluripotency and preventing cell differentiation. Next one is leucine zipper proteins. The two helices, one from each monomer, are joined together to form a short coiled coil. They bind DNA as dimer. The two helices are held together by interaction between hydrophobic amino acids, which are mostly leucine, and this hydrophobic amino acids leucine at every 7th position in the sequence these are found. And just beyond this dimerization interface, the two helices are separated from each other in a Y-shaped manner so that they contact the major groove of DNA. Thus the dimer grips the double helix like a pair of scissors. Here I am showing you the example of Phos and June leucine zipper that bound to DNA, and these proteins can also be called as basic leucine zipper domain. They may also contain basic amino acid like arginine or lysine. The next one is zinc finger proteins. DNA binding motifs here includes one or more zinc atoms as structural components. All the zinc coordinated DNA binding motifs are called zinc fingers. The zinc atom holds an helix and a sheet together. C2H2 zinc finger, it has a 23 to 6 amino acid residue consensus motif, and which contains 2 cysteine and 2 histidine holding together. These are often found in clusters with each finger contacting major groove of DNA, forming nearly continuous stretch along the groove. The another example is C4 zinc finger. So C4 zinc finger has 4 cysteine, conserved cysteine in contact with the zinc. These were identified as receptors for steroid hormones, hence led to the name steroid receptor superfamily. Similarly, they also later found to be receptors for non-steroid hormones. Thus, this group of proteins are called nucleoreceptors. What is the difference between C2H2 zinc finger and C4 zinc finger? So C2H2 zinc finger proteins generally contain 3 or more repeating fingers and bind as monomers, and C4 zinc finger, they contain only 2 finger units and bind to DNA as homodimer or heterodimer. Here I am showing you the glucocorticoid receptor, which is a C4 zinc finger protein. The next one is helix loop helix protein. This helix loop helix motif consists of a short helix connected to through a loop to the longer helix. Now the flexibility of the loop allows one helix to fold back and park against the other helix, forming a dimerization interface. This two helix structure bind to both DNA and to the another monomer, forming heterodimer or homodimer. And also when they extend from the dimerization interface, they contact the DNA with the major groove of the DNA. The N-terminal of the alpha helix residue, that are basic residues, and the C-terminal region, they contain a hydrophobic amino acid spaced at intervals. The example is MyoD1, myoblast determination protein, which forms a structure like this. These are also called basic helix loop helix proteins, which bind to the consensus sequence called CANNTG. N is any nucleotide, which is also called as E-box. Beta sheet DNA recognition proteins found in large group of transcription regulators. These are the two-stranded sheet which amino acid side chains extending from these two sheets which interacts with the major groove of the DNA. Here I am showing you the example of an enhancer region of beta interferon gene, where you see that two heteromeric factors, which is Jun ATF2 and P50 relay, these are two heteromeric factors, along with IRF7 and IRF3, two copies of which is binding. These proteins bind to the 6 overlapping binding site in this enhancer, which you can see from here. So these are the six sites, overlapping sites where these transcription factors can bind. You can imagine how tightly the regulation of eukaryotic gene expression is regulated by these transcription factors. These are some suggested readings. Thank you for watching this.